Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Om Shwara Om Namaste. Welcome. The beauty of Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter, verse 45, seeing the universal form which has not been seen before by Arjuna. Arjuna is delighted. At the same time, he says, my mind is still afflicted with fear. O Lord, show me that familiar form, O God of gods, O Lord, who is the abode of the universe. Be gracious and concede me a clear and firm, doubtless, you know, darshana. This is interesting because it says so. I have seen it before. I have never seen. Now I got it. I have the glimpse, or howsoever we want to put it, and I am delighted. But at the same time, I feel there is still fear, lingering in my mind. As if the vision, the understanding. I mean, one thing is to have a vision. Another thing is to have a profound, deep, clear understanding. As we know, only understand transforms. No? And the understand has to fight a huge battle against ignorance, So now you got it, but in your system, in your causal body, in your entire body, mind, sense complex, even on the cellular level, we are still suffering fear. It comes from the animal, rain and so on. So we get this knowledge, we get this understanding. There's nothing to fear. We are not going to be affected by anything. I see your form. It has been a delight. That is the main problem. He's dealing with Ishwara knowledge, getting to know Ishwara, getting to know God, the Creator, understand the nature of Saguna God. So you need to understand the nature of Saguna God, but this fear is going to further dissolve to the extent that you understand the nature of Nirguna God. Because then you understand it's the only reality, it's my very nature, and then fear further dissipates. With understanding the nature of Saguna God, the fear starts dissipating. You understand the system, you relax, but then understanding the nature, your very nature, your very intrinsic nature, as the nature of the true God, Nirguna Atma God, that further brings about a certain relaxation, okay? Fearlessness in regards to anything. So since he's seen Saguneshwara and he found it wonderful, but as we know, he was dealing with the fact that he did not like to understand that God was also the dissolver, the destroyer, of everything. And we know the drama of Arjuna in the battlefield, and we understand that the entire Gita comes from that perspective of an afflicted mind having to deal with the most possible dramatic circumstance of having to fight with people that you love the most, have to destroy people you love the most. I mean, it's an extreme condition. So it's understandable. So he will need to assimilate this knowledge to such an extent that he has to almost transcend his humanity. That's why we go to the 11th chapter, because he has to get a parokshayana, the direct self-knowledge in regards to the nature of Nirguna Krishna, as his very nature. And then he's still not mature enough, so much so that he says, please again, show me your familiar, beautiful, wonderful form. He is in this dualistic relationship with Saguna Brahman, Saguna Ishvara, Saguna Krishna, but he's getting there. He's gonna get there. There are still 11s. We have still 7 chapters for Arjuna to finally get it. So here, Arjuna expressed his twofold emotions, which is, the ones that we have covered so far, wonderment and then fear, He has to go to the last one, which is equanimity, the seeing through all prarabdha karma and accepting everything as a mere superimposition upon God. So only a few lucky ones get this understanding. I'm one of the few lucky ones, blessed ones, because you gave me this vision of wisdom to see you, understand your saguna nature. It's not easy for others, so I'm a privileged. Arjuna is thinking in his mind, or Swami is putting some elaborations on his words, because the special Divya Kashu gift, I got this rare Vishvarupa darshan. So he asked for it and he got it, and so on. Since it's very, very rare, in fact, people are going to glorify Arjuna, saying, Arjuna, you are almost godlike because you are privileged to have this darshana with the Lord. Therefore, from that angle, Arjuna feels like continuously like seeing Vishvarupa because I have got a rare darshana, so I want to see it all the time. I don't want it to be a forgetful kind of thing, I don't want it to just be on and off. But the trouble is that he does not accept that one third of this vision, which is the vision of the Lord devouring everything as kalam, the time principle. Okay. I mean, we understand. It's just imagine you go and you have that vision. And then on top of opening your mind to see that, you have an epiphany in which you see this huge Lord Krishna devour your children, your husband, your wives, So it's traumatizing, huh? Unless you are really prepared to see such a thing. It's not a good epiphany, But it is an illustration, symbol of this destroyer principle, seeing people being crushed. He felt like the Lord is so beautiful, but so ruthlessly killing people. One part of his mind is happy, another part is fearful and distressed. One part of my mind is happy, says Arjuna. I continue to see the other part of the mind is not happy. So as he is divided. This is also very interesting, because most of us, we know what it is, a divided mind. We have the knowledge and then we have the ignorance. Sometimes we act upon ignorance. Sometimes we act upon knowledge. Sometimes we have emotion from the standpoint of this knowledge. Sometimes we have emotions from the standpoint of fear, which is a byproduct of ignorance. So he could have closed his eyes. In Malayalam, it's said that there is a parallel. It's better before, therefore, I'm not able to swallow and not able to swallow. And then at the same time, it's also sweat, bitter, sweet. Interesting. I'm not able to spit it all as well. Arjuna feels in between that. He put something nice in his mouth. He's enjoying. It's sweet and tasteful, but at the same time, there is a nasty bitterness to it. And he's undecided. And he says, again, Swamiji is saying, so he's divided like that because he got this Divya Kakshu artificially. It was not a well supported, structured vision based, well-funded vision. No, it did not have a good foundation. You know, it was artificially produced. Therefore, he's having this split in his mind. This vision, the vision of wisdom should be accomplished by our own effort, by our own sadhanas, by sufficient kama yoga, raga dveshas, ahamkara mamakara comes down, and then equanimity or vairagya comes up. And then a mature individual can accept the bitter and the sweet fruits of life, knowing that one always comes with the other. Yeah, all always comes with the other. So this is maturity. Life comes with death, the birth comes with death, health comes with sicknesses, and so on. And how are you going to develop that? Karma yoga, observance of Dharma, Vipassana, and then furthermore, Shravana Manana. So, and then you developed a certain, when we say here vision, at the very beginning when I got into Vedanta, I was still looking here and there for some other guys explaining what is Vedanta. And then there was one guy that presented, I'm talking about almost 10 years ago, he said, Vedanta is a vision. I say, wow, there is something about it. And then I tried to listen a little bit more to understand his perspective. And he did not elaborate so well, I believe, or maybe at the time I was not so well versed or well, I was not as I did not have as much Vedantic knowledge to understand why it is a vision, but it is a vision. And there are two levels of vision. One is this Vishvarupa vision that see that everything is God, Saguna God, of course, and it's intelligent, designed, it's a very, very perfect order serving certain purpose. And then we understand that our thoughts, words, and deeds, they are fundamental in our journey. But we also understand that our prarabdha cannot be demanded because it's part of a very complex equation, which I often call Shwara system. So you have that vision as a good karma, dharma observer, and Vipassana, you understood the Gita, you understood this, but then in the Gita, there is already a lot of Upanishad teachings in there as well. And then the other vision is a different vision, you know? So the other vision is not that you see Nirguna Brahman. You may infer, yeah, everything is Brahman, is Brahman, is Brahman. The other vision is more in terms like you see, now Vedanta is the development of a vision. You see everything from the perspective of Emsai, Satya, all of this is Mithya. All of this is a superimposition upon I consciousness, the only reality. That's the vision. But the vision of Vishwarupa Ishvara is different. It's an objective vision. You see Ishvara as the manifest universe. So we do all these sadhanas, and then our ignorance comes down. What is ignorance? Likes and dislikes, abiding likes and dislikes, raga dveshas. So that is ignorance. I want what I want. I don't want what I don't want, and then I get nasty if I'm not met with my demands, and other people around suffer. So these things come down if one is really serious about applying the teachings of karma, dharma, upasana, without being distracted with so many other suggestions that you find all around. So that's the way a mind can nature develop a good understanding, vision. Vision is an understanding. It's not something that you see. Because when you see Vishwarupa, Ishvara, you are seeing just the Namarupas. So you have to convert the vision of the Namarupas around us, yeah, all these living creatures, this explosion of nature and so on. You have to convert the vision of those Namarupas into the vision of the Lord hidden behind all Namarupas. Yeah? So it's all about knowledge. And then, furthermore, to have the ultimate vision, the most liberated vision, I am of the nature of consciousness, the only reality. And this world is just a reflection upon this reality, upon myself as consciousness. So that vision is going to be purely cognitive and intellectually accomplished. So you have to really understand that the only true reality is the consciousness of the observer of this phenomenal world. And the intellect has to be satisfied with all the logic presented by the Upanishads, as Shimaya used to say, analyze, look at the teachings, look for a defect, be convinced once you have no more questions and queries. So that's the way to go. Oh, but it's too much work. I want as well. I want an artificial vision, you know, an artificial vision. That's why Arjuna is not being able to enjoy. That's why he's having this split mind. Therefore, he says, "Oh Lord, you are so good to me, but I'm having trouble. I'm still suffering with fear. Therefore, what is my request? Enough is enough. Please withdraw the entire Vishvarupa because I understood that it comes in one single package and I cannot ask you to withdraw the last third, you know. You have to, he had to ask him and withdraw the entire Vishvarupa and cancel from my memory system as well. I don't want to keep remembering what I have seen, which is impossible in some ways, because once we get a certain knowledge, it's very difficult to deny a certain knowledge, a certain experience such as this one. So I have to go from Ekarupa and to develop Anekarupa to see the Lord as the totality of all Namarupas. Ragadvesha must be processed, must be neutralized. Nirguna Bhakti is coming later, so that is not our topic now. Ekarupa to Anekarupa, okay? I have to reduce Ragadvesha, which is all binding vasanas, binding likes and dislikes. They are almost like demands that we present to life, as if we have the right to present demands. To put in another language, ahamkara mamakara must be reduced. So the whole thing about ahamkara mamakara is because ahamkara is the first mama. What is the first mamakara happening to the ahamkara? Ahamkara is consciousness identified with the body mind sense complex, and then the first mamakara that emerges my body man mind my body mind complex. And then from there, you start just owning things, my this, my that, you start owning everything. So then ahamkara comes, with mamakara, my instrument of knowledge, and I want to work to gain things, and then later on I continue working for what? For mama cara, to keep it, to maintain what is mine, and I don't want to lose. You understand? You want things, okay, you are moved by desire for things that are not going to deliver, but that's another topic. But then once you get something that somehow promise something, you have the trouble of no, I don't want to lose because it's mine. You know, my relationship, my house, my job, my this, my that. All of that must be reduced. They must come down. Only then such a devotion is going to be something enjoyable, such a vision, such an understanding of the nature of Saguna Ishvara will be enjoyable. So here Arjuna says, I have seen something which is unique, which I have not experienced before. Have come to my home. Apu means you do not generally come. So similarly, this is Apurva Darshana. What is Apurva here in this sense? Drishtapurvan means Apurvan. Tamil, we ask you have come home. Apurvana means you do not generally come. Purva, Apurva. Purva, Apurva. Oh, did you guys do some work on this one?
I think it just means not seen before.
Yeah. It's interesting because my son was brought up in the environment of my first guru. He got his name, like most of us, and mine was Nagarjuna or Nagar. Uh, he got his name Apurvo, Apurvo. But I don't remember the meaning, and if I ask him, he may not even remember that he had that name one time. Having seen uh, this, I'm extremely elated because, especially when we have something rare, I feel I am a special, the chosen feels I am a special one. I should be happy because everybody is pointing to me that I am very privileged. And people, human nature is like that. Even if you wear a nice dress, people are going to feel envy and say, "Wow, wow, you are so lucky. You have such a beautiful dress." Immediately we identify and we say, "Well, I should be happy here because I have the nicest dress in the block." So, human nature. Arjuna is experiencing that psychological element, like, oh, I should be suffering, but everybody says that I should be happy, you know. Okay. With fear in Arjuna's mind, he is afflicted, tortured, tormented, distressed. So it is like his experience. I also have to share this experience. So I think he's going to give one of his stories now. In the village, we have got a village function, temple function, and in Kerala, for any festival, elephant must be there. So we have two or three elephants. In the middle, elephant carry the Lord, and there is a production of the whole village. And when the elephant goes, people would like to go as well on the top of the elephant because we have to hold the deity and hold the umbrella and everything that decorates the Lord sitting on the elephant. So there is a struggle because everybody wants to be on top of the elephant together with the Lord. Who is going to get that privilege? And then one time I also got on the elephant. Swami Ji, now you disappointed me. You know, why you go into the elephant? You could fall down and hurt yourself, but most probably he was a kid. Now, in the village and all, on the top of the elephant, they do not spread anything. Okay. I remember this story. In the movies, they show they show with clothes the elephant, they protect the elephant so that people sit and go and the wars fight fought with elephants as a moving war instrument. But they show with cushions and everything, and everybody is happy, so comfortable, even in war. But I had no idea what it's all about. On the top of elephant, when you go there, there is a backbone in the elephant, and it's really the hardest thing in the world, perhaps harder than the diamond. And the hair of the elephant is like sharp needles. So when you get on the elephant and you look around, he was a child. He says all the other children would be envious of me. Everybody's smiling, say, "Wow, look, this guy, he must be special. What a privilege." And then Swamiji has to smile as well because human nature is, so I'm not going to pass on this respect, and reverence that people are paying to me. I was there for 10 minutes. When I'm going to get down and you do not want to let it out because others are envious of you. So why to let out that which gave me such a status? So you put a smile outwards and inside you wait for the time to get out of that elephant, you know. So when I read this verse of Arjuna, I remember that passage in my childhood. So very happy, but miserable as well. Sweet and bitter, you know. So you are happy because you feel like I got a special status, but I feel miserable because it's like a bittersweet thing. He says, and then this is another example that he sometimes, it's like wearing a coat in Madras, in Chennai. There's business people or people when they come from abroad, they buy some coat, some nice how you say the same color of the pants and here those kind of jacket, the business jacket, and then people want to wear it. Otherwise, what's the purpose? I brought it from the USA, but none of that is suitable to India. There we have 40, 43, 45 or more degrees Celsius. So for the sake of showing up, you keep smiling, but you're sweating inside, feeling miserable about that. So similarly, between these two, which is dominating Bayam alone and dominating is and therefore Krishna is experience good, the both. One side of mind says, I want to forget about everything and go back to my relationship with my old good neighbor friend, Krishna. Or I can have a relationship with the Guruji who is just smiling and so on, but I don't want to come too close to have the whole picture of this Guruji, because I find out that he's the destroyer as well. I want Krishna, or I want, if or I get only Krishna, the one who is a compassionate, loving Guruji, oh, I want my neighbor back and forget about all of these things. From these, we come to know that graduating to Anekarupa Ishvara itself is not an easy job. Mm. Accepting God as the flow of life, which brings all these, pleasures and pains, sweet and bitter fruits. So accepting it in its integrity requires this Anekarupa Vishwara, which is an understanding which is rare to find. And only if I get to this graduation and remain in this understanding, this Aneka Rupa Ishwara relationship, Vishwarupa Ishwara for sufficient length of time, therefore only Rupa Ishwara will get inside you. But we try to jump from Eka Rupa directly to Vedanta, to Upanishads. So we need to go from Ishwara as defined by certain deities with name, forms, and attributes until we grow to understand Ishwara as the cosmos manifests, and the pure intelligence that is, the cause of this universe. And it's also the material cause of the universe. Therefore, it is the universe manifest. It's quite a stretch to get that vision. And why I like to present always that the best way to understand the Lord is not only that it's the manifest universe, but I like to present this vision more in terms of a vision that extends itself to the point of seeing as the order, the intelligent order, the laws and principles governing this meteor world. Why? Because the laws, they are what they are. They cannot be, canceled or suspended for your sake. And the most fundamental is everything that's born must die. The fundamental law is karma, and everything is a karmic process. And what is, we have to make peace with the fact that the physical appearance or body of ours is a temporary condition, and accept and celebrate when the time comes to say goodbye to this Namarupa. And this is often easier said than really experienced or realized and lived. And if we don't go through this process of understand Ishvara as a deity, Ishvara as the manifestation of the entire cosmos, Ishvara as the laws holding this cosmos, among the laws, the ethical, moral, and karmic laws, the laws that brings about time and space. And one of the most fundamental principle is anything that is a configuration of the gunas, anything that comes from the gunas goes back into the gunas. It comes from the gunas, it somehow shapes up as an entity or a deity or jiva or any object, a plant, and they are destroyed to go back to the gunas. Comes from the gunas, go back to the gunas. Nothing disappears completely, but that's what it is from the standpoint of our physical reality. Everything here comes together and then it dissolves or resolves back into the gunas. But people want to jump. They don't like even the idea of Ekarupa, no? Because this thing about religions and God and devotion is something backward, it's something of the past and so on. I want the philosophy. I want to say, Ham Brahmasmi, and so on. So people want to jump. That's why Vedanta appears to be just an academic philosophy to most people because they don't get the qualifications necessary to benefit from these Upanishad teachings. It does not seem to help because Upanishad is talking about what? You need to have the sadhana katustaya sampati. You need to go through kama, dhamma, upasana. You need to get different levels of relationship with the Lord. You have to develop different levels of devotion. Then only then you can go to Arupa Shwara, or Nirguna Brahman. Therefore, Tad Eva Rupa. May you show, may you show me. Therefore, Tad Eva Rupa, that is Ekarupa. Yeah. So he's there asking still, yeah. Go back to Ekarupa. No, to, I got confused with this term. Therefore, Tad Eva Rupa, Ekarupa, Anekarupa, and Arupa. So I did not understand this passage here, but may not be much relevant. Shwarandar Saya. Okay. If you guys got it, please feel free.
I think he just wants to see his friend.
Yeah, I was sensing maybe something on those lines as well. So, Jaganivatsa means the Lord in whom the world is resting. Jagatan Nivatsaya, Nivatsa, Sasti, da, da, da. But in this context, Sasura, we go on this idea symbolic presented, and Vasoda asks Lord Krishna to open the mouths, Yasoda, and Yasoda, oh, I don't know. When Krishna ate mud, you know the story of Yasoda? You know the story of Yasoda, Mark? Olin? Okay, then we skip that. Open the mouths.
I think it's when Krishna was a baby, and I can't remember if Yashoda was the adopted mother or but she wanted to get the mud out of his. Some baby ate some mud, and she says, open your mouth, get that mud out. And then he opens his mouth, and she has the Vishwarupa there.
Ah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember vaguely this story. Yeah, yeah, nice, very nice, very beautiful. Symbolically, yeah, symbolisms that says a lot. Beautiful. Therefore, instead of saying, "I'm not able to," she commanded Krishna to shut up. Shut up means what? She or he. Instead of saying, "I'm not able to," she commanded Krishna to shut up. Shut up means what? Only it seems to be a command, but inside it's all fear. It's not to be literally taken up like that. How come all the cosmos would be inside the Krishna's mouth? Even the Tirupati. Now, he was talking about the mother asking the child and then seeing the cosmos in his mouth. We are not able to put inside anything in one's mouth, especially in a child. Of course, it's a symbolism. It's this symbolize the Lord as Visvadaram, no, Agagana Shadas. What is this Sanskrit passage here? This could be interesting to know.
This means the support of the universe
Yeah,
as infinite as the sky.
beautiful. Symbolize the Lord as the all-pervasive, additional support of the universe. Yeah, beautiful. Verse 46. I wish to see you in the same form as before, with crown, with mace, and with disc in your hand. O Lord, with thousand arms. O Lord, with universal form. Appear with that very same four-armed form. So this is he's asking him to appear as he knew him in the pujas and so on, and Krishna with four arms. Is that what he's saying? So Arjuna concludes his request, his prayer. This is the third stage of his appreciation. Number one, Asharyam, two, Bhayam, and three, Bhakti. Asharyam, Bhayam, Bhakti. So help me out with these three. The Asharyam would be the guru, or what? Number two, Bhayam.
These are the his responses of wonder, fear,
Okay.
and devotion.
And devotion. Okay.
Rishi.
Thank you. I was misled with the Acharya that seems to be the guru. The third stage of Bhakti expression is being concluded here, with Arjuna request to the Lord to get back to his own Ekarupa, familiar form. Therefore he says, I would like to see you as my old Krishna, Ekarupa Krishna, that old Rupa. Arjuna wonders Krishna remembers or not. Therefore, I tell him what was his old form. Arjuna is even say, describe, I don't know, maybe you forgot how you used to show up to the party. And I'm going to describe, you used to show up like this, like this. I want you to be like that again, you know? Now you are with 1,000 arms. I want you to be only with 4 arms, and so on. There are people who make a big analysis around these symbolisms. Anyway, I'm not going to say anything. How does Arjuna say Katu Bhuya Yana? So before Ishvara Rupa Darshana, Krishna was moving with Arjuna, but was Krishna with 4 hands and 2 hands, with 4 hands or 2 hands. We have no idea. Okay, these people they're going to analyze, say, so in the basic form of the Lord, he had 2 or 4 hands and so on, how many arms, and then he extended into 1,000 arms and hands. We do not need to go into that. Leave it to the Puranic people and the research and discussion, debates. Arjuna, the fact that Arjuna is confused with split emotions of joy and gratitude and fear and terror. So he was confused. Therefore, he said, you can take it that way. He said, come back to have 4 arms. I don't know, Katu Bhujana. Do not break your head on that. So, blah, 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 it's irrelevant. Oh Lord, may you appear like this or like that. I mean, it's okay, but we have to keep in mind what is really relevant to self-inquiry and self-knowledge, even though these Puranic stories can be delightful as well, you know? I want only Krishna room. I don't want Vishvarupam. So this Arjuna's response to Vishvarupa Darshana is over. The last phase is from the verse 35 to this verse. Now the ball is in the Lord's court. Okay, that's interesting. There is some silence. Arjuna was talking for a long time. He was, how you say, he was, how you say when you really elevating the others, oh, you were so beautiful and this and this and this. Usually there is something to be asked afterwards, you know. because we humans, we always have an agenda. But he went through all of that, and Lodge, being very, very wise, he understands the whole game. So I'm looking forward to see what he's gonna say. Unfortunate, Swamiji is going to become with a recap. So Arjuna expresses his appreciations, yes, and he surrenders. Even though he's happy to be a devotee, he is still afraid. He feels privileged and blessed, but at the same time, that vision of the Lord as a destroyer does not leave his mind, provoking these emotions of fear. So this is all part of the pairs of opposite, likes and dislikes, pleasure and pain, bitter and sweet. How about equanimity? You just see things as it is, you are thankful, but you don't need to this extreme. You just understand, know that it is the intelligent order with all its laws and principles. You don't fight it because it's stupid to fight laws, laws and principles. You try to live your life developing vairagya, acceptance, and learning how to, at the same time, how to present in a way that it could be conducive to favorable circumstance. So that's all we can do. And this is the process by which we develop less ragadvesha and more contemplation and more acceptance, proper acceptance of what is. If events, they follow this nature of the opposite pairs, events, circumstances, they are either favorable to my preference or unfavorable to my preference, to my likes. As I have said before, uh, if birth is an integral part of Bhagwan, death is also integral part of Bhagwan. Therefore, to become a Vishwarupa Bhakta, you should be able to accept both, all pairs of opposites, and that takes a lot of wisdom. A tremendous, in the word of the Swami, a tremendous inner maturity is required. People look down, knowing that to become a real advanced Kama Yoga is so rare, it requires tremendous uh, qualification and development, inner maturity, which is also as an integral part of Bhagwan. Everything in Bhagwan, definitely, yeah. Even our Parabhada, the Parabhada Kam is something very interesting. So we think the Parabhada Kam is just what's happening around us here. What's happening within ourselves. So what's my Parabhada today? So I'm experiencing more vairagya, I'm receiving it from the Lord. Somehow the Lord has seen my efforts to understand the nature of this Mithya order, by taking things with as prasad, with equanimity, with grace, with reverence. And this is a maturity. This is an event in time, which is also integral part of Bhagwan as the giver of our Paravada Karma. So you worked very hard, huh? So okay, so I'm gonna give you 10% more Vairagya. So how about that? You know? Therefore, it requires reverence rather than complain. Please, the last possible thing is to fight God. The person suffers so much and make others suffer as well. That's why in Sandhya Vandanam, we regularly worship Yama and Bhagwan. That must be a nice story. One who is the cause of old age and death, and old age as well, which culminates in Maranan, Yama is the cause of death. And we should reverentially worship Yama, Dharmaraja, daily. The should be able to accept that as the two, poles, two extremes, pairs, meaning birth and death. We need not only even develop a reverential attitude, at least if we can have a non-critical, no-complaining attitude, that self is already certain maturity. Meaning to say, you don't need to expect that you're gonna be so mature that you're gonna be, with a big smile, in reverence and love and gratitude to the Lord when Yamahaja come to take away your instrument. It's enough if you remain calm, not have any critical or complaining attitude. This is a nice indication. Similar, every association I have to accept and every dissociation I have to accept without grumbling, whining, complaining, blaming. Similarly, health and sicknesses or sickness. Similarly, war and peace. As long as human free will is there, there will be ragadvesha and all sorts of opposite pairs of circumstance and experiences. Which means there will be even war in the superior locus, even in the heavenly locus, there will be war. That's a strange statement, but I don't even try to understand. But we hear about the devas and the asuras, they are always fighting in these other dimensions. I'm saying that it's a bit funny because uh, the point of is there exercise of free will in these other locus, or it's something that we exercise only here, associate with the physical body, interacting, more structuredly with the field. So I present a question, Swamiji, when Mark went to see Swamiji, but not from this angle. So is there real free will? Does our choice in those realms affect us, means to say, give us the possibility of a spiritual elevation or decline, or only here, Therefore, most of the things are integral part of this Vishwarupa Ishwara. I should be able to accept them without complaints, grumbling, which means I should have a very very rarefied mind, a rare mind which sees the totality. Therefore, for a mature mind, Vishvarupa can be very difficult to digest. And Arjuna demonstrates that to all of us here in the 11th chapter. I'm not able to withstand. Then the question is, how can I make myself mature until I get the maturity to accept Bhagwan? The only alternative I have is to accept the Ekarupa Ishvara as the Lord. That is why we start with Ishta Devata, and then we move, into as Anekarupa. Anekarupa, Vishvarupa, Ekarupa, Anekarupa, Right, it's a beautiful stotram called Shiva Shankara Stotram. Oh Lord, and I have to go. So I tell you, I love this meeting of ours. That's why I did my best to have it today. I'm gonna be able to make it on Friday. But if I see any possibility, I'm so much into it. I may shoot a message to you guys to see if you're available as well.
That would
Okay?
be great.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste. Uh, we meet again soon. Shvara Willing.
Thank you, Orlando.
See you. Bye bye. Thank you.